All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Vinland Saga, Season 2, Episode 22. All right.
222, and we're going to have a conversation between two people as soon as a lot more than two punches
Yes,
delivered.
and 22 punches, yeah. So, this one is going to be a tough deal, Thorfinn, but you've already got a plan. You're going to kind of also have a little gimmick to cheat your way through these 100 punches, which I'm here for it.
Yep.
Let's go.
I actually really appreciate that because then it keeps it
grounded,
right?
Yeah,
if it was like, oh, without that, it's like, no, we literally just saw someone die later because of a beating, right?
Right.
So
Thorfinn is built differently.
Built differently. But it's still 100 punches.
But it's still 100 punches from a big guy.
Yep.
And that being said, he still needs to be able to talk to, Canute afterwards.
Right, like there was no talk about like, okay, no more than 50 to the face, and then the other 50 have to beat it, like, the abs or something, right? Like he could go all up here.
Yeah, we hope that the punches are distributed everywhere. I think there's definitely going to be a point where they like have a hey, start slow, like give him a chance, like go easy on the first 10 and then ramp it up at around 25,
Right. Or it's just he starts going so fast that he's not actually like putting everything he can into the one punch, because you have someone who's not dodging or
Another thing is that they made the bet that he'd be able to do it if he maybe also can't do the punches, like he can't do them all. like your thing.
Like he breaks his hands,
he breaks
and
his
he's
hands
like,
or his fingers.
Actually,
I could see him not being able to punch right after about 50, and then it's now he starts jabbing. Now he starts really, backhanding him and stuff.
And we also didn't say. Now I don't think necessarily that Thorfinn will do this, but theoretically, like, could he block to have the punch still land, but just hit his arms? Right?
Maybe.
Like,
I think that the main point is that he's going to date. He's going to date this
smother
shit.
those punches.
Smother those punches.
Yep.
But yeah, at the very least, if Canute sees him, which I think he will.
Yes.
Do you think he'll see him taking punches or after all the punches have been taken?
I think after.
You don't think he's going to come over?
No, I think with that statement,
the thing we discussed of
it's because that's just going to make him be like, I made the right call, and now I'm just gonna. Thorfinn is gonna get here, and hey, he's doing it in a very flashy way.
Yeah,
that will also make me look good.
Yeah, so he knows how to keep his image
presence,
as a king and yes, presence really well handled. But yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh shit! Just in the thick of it.
Yep.
I can tell he's doing it. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Smother those punches. Already lost.
Yeah.
I think he would notice by now.
Yeah, he's thinking, he's like, there's no way he could just.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. How long will we be able to keep this up? Yeah. Can you do this 5 more times?
And Einar's never seen the kind of stuff that Thorfinn can really do, other than the one time he fought Snake.
I mean, Snake, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because he was running away. At the time.
No, that's a good point, yeah.
Jesus. He's trying to hold him still. He's like, stop.
He got distracted.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah, what is going on? Yeah, Omar, you heard that. That's what he's doing. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh!
Middle part! What?
Get it over with! Fuck!
Holy shit! Yeah, sweep that hair back.
Oh, we're just time skipping ahead. Wow. Yeah. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
He ended up falling.
Yeah.
Just from the exhaustion. What was your name again?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep.
He didn't
Sorry,
even.
it's still kind of funny
yeah.
looking. It's just perfect. It's so powerful, but it's also like
Yeah. But
his
also.
whole face is just
Yeah.
swollen.
And now he speaks for him.
Yeah. Why? Yep, they all want to know why. They are all listening. They're going to remember whatever you say here. Whoa. Oh. You are not my enemy.
Yeah!
Peak. Peak.
Holy shit. Yeah! Oh my god. And now that line is gonna live on.
That's a good one. I want to see what he says, yeah. Clear the way.
Yep.
In their minds, they're all bowing to Thorfinn.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, shit.
Oh my
I got
God.
chills. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Fuck, with the drums and everything.
yeah.
Jeez. Ah.
That was everything.
My body is alive. Like, oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what happened.
Knut's like, wait, what?
Vinland Saga. Let's fucking go. Yep. With the ocean. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. The sun's gonna set soon. Oh my god, this is...
Yep, yep.
We're going from peak to peak. Fuck. Yep, the eyes.
Oh my god.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I imagine this big guy, you know?
Right, right.
The gravity of this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Oh my god! This is such a...
Uh-huh.
Okay, I have mad respect for you, Knut, for letting him speak and not having any issues with it. Yeah. Where's the foundation? I don't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. First, do you still believe that? Yeah. Let's set some groundwork here. Fuck. Yeah. Yeah, channeling your father. Yep, there it is. Yep, there it is. Yep, he's making the pose, the swaying pose. Yep. He's doing it.
Really?
Okay, pontificate. Do this. Yeah. Invoke his name. Yeah, here we go. Ah.
Okay.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah. Wow, yeah.
It's fair.
All of history. A glorious act of rebellion indeed.
Mm-hmm. Hang on. Yep.
Yeah. Oh. Nope. We're still talking. This is important. God, this is so intense. No way. Are we ending the episode here? No.
No! God damn it!
No!
God damn it!
Ah! God! This is just so...
You can't keep doing this. You can't keep getting away with it.
I know!
This show.
All right, y'all. We went from peak to peak. We did.
Yeah. And now we're on another cliffhanger. Because
Thorfinn has done everything he set out to do.
Uh-huh.
He took the 100 punches.
Yep.
The guy collapsed out of
Exhaustion.
Total exhaustion.
And the final punch wasn't even truly a punch.
It was just an acknowledgement.
Right, it was an acknowledgement showing that the spirit had been defeated, basically, right? And fucking love it. And yet we still end this episode with, all right, if you don't kill me, I'm taking this farm. So, send my men to surround you and point their spears at you. What are you gonna do? Right?
We're gonna play a game. I'm gonna be like, Canute, no, you have to kill me.
But he doesn't need to.
No, but that's the thing. Like, in a lot of ways, the only way Thorfinn and Canute can have a resolution to this here, because of the way that they've set this up, Canute is going to have to give this up. Somehow in the story, he's going to be made to give this up. Because if Thorfinn basically puts this as a, no, I won't let you, well, then it's we can't have either of them die.
Yeah, it seems we are at an impasse.
We're at an impasse, yeah, exactly. So it's well, Canute, go figure it out. It's not my problem. I really hope it ends up being a thing where the soldiers don't kill him because of what they saw.
Yeah,
they saw what happened there.
That's true.
That's the only thing that would undermine this here is basically that the soldiers choose the vision that Thorfinn has over Canute's.
They move towards Thorfinn, and Canute's like, yes, they're going to surround him and all that stuff. And then they just form up behind him, and they're like, actually, sir,
you need to kill him yourself. Yeah.
That would be crazy.
That is almost too much.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
But it's the kind of thing that I kind of want it to happen because I feel like Vinland Saga could pull it off.
Well, because the tough part is that if it's not every soldier, right?
No, it just has to be enough.
No, right.
Because then there's the masses effect where it's
in order to not like lose their respect, basically.
They all do it in solidarity, you know?
But like, since Thorfinn wouldn't want them to actually physically defend him, right?
No, of course not. No. Then they wouldn't be doing it as an act of we're going to defend him. They're doing it as an act of no, we won't kill him, basically.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. But that all being said, the conversation was powerful, not just because Thorfinn and Canute are strong personalities and people with conviction, but it's also Einar's there as well.
Yeah.
And he's giving Canute a lot of accusations of, what makes you any different than Svein or Aethelred?
Yep.
You're doing the exact same thing. I don't give a fuck what your motivations are.
Right.
Cool motives,
you might
still
think
murder.
Up here that it's all different. And also, by the way, who's to say they weren't thinking the same things?
I mean, he knows that they weren't thinking the same things.
No, not the exact same things with the, God and all that stuff. But theoretically, it could have been something very similar.
Right. But Canute knows they weren't thinking the same thing. He knows his father.
That's a great point.
It's the kind of thing where Canute is different. That's the point, is that this wouldn't be a conflict if Canute was just deluded entirely. He is actually different, but he is also under a delusion. But it is not that he's somehow different or better. He doesn't see himself as different or better. He sees this as all being worth it. He sees it all as being something where it's I'm not building my Griffith city that I'm going to live in. No, I can't do that. I'm a butcher, a killer, a murderer.
I will slaughter as many as I need to get to a utopia. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
One or less,
Right, but that's the thing is that's the only way he could see this.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, it's I'm going to save as many people as I can.
Right.
Like I'm not trying to be a murderer here.
I'm not stopping the machine, but I am absolutely going to be making value judgments. And given that I'm making these value judgments probably with lives on a scale kind of a deal, it doesn't matter if they're innocent.
Well, no, I mean it doesn't matter how you see me.
Sure.
Like it's the kind of thing where this whole conflict in and of itself is a mix of Ketil and Canute's decisions here. But the reason why Canute is coming here basically is to basically make good on I am a king and I cannot be defied. So if someone defies me, I will go and kill them. But it's I give you every opportunity to surrender. Do we now say that Canute is entirely to blame just because he has the most power here?
I mean, I think I would say yes. There's definitely some stupid things that were done by Ketil's side, but Canute wanted this. He got it.
He doesn't have it.
Well, no. But he's here. He's going to take it, right?
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to. That's the thing. No. Sorry.
Of course, there is the possibility that he suddenly decides, you know what, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
But this is him going after what he wants, and it didn't really matter what Ketil or everybody else does. He's from his standpoint, he's going to get it either way, right?
I see what
Whether it's because they surrender or because he slaughters them all or whatever, right? He is going to get this farm, and so because of that, I would say it does rest on him, because none of Kettle's decisions would have affected this, at all. Right?
Possibly.
Like maybe they could have chosen the smarter options that would have led to less people dying.
Right.
But
The crazy thing is that right now, Olmar has already made the decision to surrender.
That's true.
They're here.
Yeah.
If anything, this whole conversation ends immediately once Olmar goes, by the way, we're here to surrender.
Sure.
That's literally what we're here for. Mm-hmm. So in a lot of ways, the point that I think the show is trying to make is that Olmar and Thorfinn are responding to this the best way.
Yes.
Which is, courage is not about saying, well, I'm going to stand up against the superior force because, that's what it is to be a man. And it's that's a
Think
whole
about
load
your
of
family
baloney.
and,
Life is more valuable than your pride.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck about your pride. That's basically...
And your property, right? Like it's...
Or your property.
Because then it's just the same kind
stuff.
of a thing as the...
That was Sverkel's whole point, yeah.
Well, Sverkel's whole point, but then also Gardar's whole point, right? Oh, if we get iron, right, that'll make our lives better. It's like, well, sure, but maybe just, focus on the life part.
Right. So Canute has made a similar value judgment in that basically he weighs his utopia above all life.
Right.
And that makes sense because from his perspective, he's thinking of the generational beyond himself kind of life and things like that. And in a lot of ways, that's what Thor's wanted, is that he's like, I will avoid conflict for the sake of not a utopia, but a form of it for his family and for anybody that he can, and build this community on Iceland.
Right.
And as far away as he can from war.
Yep. And then the key difference is that in Thor's case, it's when push comes to shove, okay, I will offer my own life as sacrifice in order to maintain it. Versus in Canute's case, it's I'm going to voluntold your lives for
because Canute saw, and I would say rightfully so, that Thor's is not going to change anything. In 2 generations, Thor's whole community and everything will be completely gone. All that influence, it will not mean anything.
It's practical rather than idealistic.
Oh, it's extremely practical versus idealistic. Canute is thinking about this in the terms that he's probably a student of history, and he understands that for many different periods in history, there were great leaders that put themselves into situations where they controlled most of the developed and living world that he was aware of, or he has awareness of. And in that time, there was, for a large percentage of humanity, a peace that they experienced.
Sure.
The Roman Empire is a great example of this. They were constantly under conflicts, but for the majority of the empire and stuff, they never experienced war.
Right.
They lived in a form of a utopia. It's one of the golden ages of humanity in terms that it was bought by many, many people's death and stuff.
And maintained by deaths.
Absolutely maintained by death. But the idea that in terms of the living quality of the humans that were experiencing that, there were leaps and bounds untold gone from there to the point that the years post-Roman Empire are known as the Dark Ages because so much was lost during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that Canute is basically saying, I will do even greater than that. I will do it with my fervent, almost faith-driven rebellion against God. He absolutely feels like the religious zealot in a lot of ways.
Yep.
But it's does he get measured against this for the character that he has or for the simple number of deaths that he's bringing about? Because I think it's a complicated mix of the two, right? Like a lot of what people experience in our current modern day is built on the backs of hundreds, if not thousands, of dead.
No, right. Well, there's a difference. There's a huge fundamental difference between you can't change the past. So, this is the world that we're in, and now we live in it, right? Versus sure. But it's a good thing that those things were done in the past because it made us able to live the lives that we have today.
Well,
right? Very different.
I think they're both really dangerous ways of thinking. Is the idea that, well, yes, you obviously can't change the past, but you can do things in the present that perpetuate the pasts and the way that has been done. And that's why rebellion is a thing, is basically saying, I reject the past and the way things are done so violently that we have to move things in a new direction.
I would say that's very different. Rebellion is when you reject the present.
I mean, the present is
of course.
You know.
Yes, if we go into the literal sense, but like rebellion is present society is problematic, and so there needs to be violent revolution in order to change that, right?
And present society is built upon the past. It is.
Yes, but they're different things.
I know, but it's a very tiny difference. I don't think the difference is.
Wait. So
yeah,
the fact
he's trying to save the Vikings. Yeah.
No, but so okay. Thorfinn killed a bunch of people in his past.
Yes.
Right now, he's not killing people.
Yes. No,
so
that's good. Yeah.
So saying that because he killed people in his past, that's not actually that different from the present. It wouldn't actually be that different for him to just say, be killing these people right now.
Okay, I'm
that,
not following.
That doesn't work.
Okay, maybe I'm not following your line of thinking with this here, but I'm talking about things from the perspective that Canute is believing himself to be right and is only deluded in the sense that he is either killing a bunch of people, right? Or his character isn't true, right? It's a combination of those two things, right? Right? Like he's a well-intentioned tyrant in that he is doing this thing, but the end result is he's killing a bunch of people.
Right, and that's why I would say the character thing doesn't really matter.
Okay, cool. Like, so then the idea that he is believing himself to be a good man or believing himself to be, it doesn't really matter who he is. It's a just a very straight bottom line of plus minus how many people, basically.
And not even plus minus how many people, because I think that's what Canute's doing, right? But if Thorfinn were to have Canute's philosophy, he would say that even before all the stuff happened, when he was a warrior, he would say, I need to become a warrior and kill a bunch of people so that I can learn the value of life. So that then afterwards I will go on to save a bunch of people that will go beyond the number of people I killed.
So that's a character thing. The thing that Canute is doing is not, like you're saying, it's not character based. It's the idea, not of the who he is, the traits that he has, the values that he has. It's I see a future. This is what every villain, every person that thinks that they're above it basically goes into, is the idea of I see a future that is in direct violation with the present past. I think that they are their own full mix there. But basically the present is continually coming because of the decisions that we make in the present, which then become the past. That's why I wanted to basically conflate the two for the purpose of this argument here, is that Canute is living this reality and he is tired of it going this way. So he says, okay, how do I bring things from where we are right now into the future? In order to do that, I need to be strong enough, basically. I need to be
and ruthless and not balk at the sacrifices made along the way.
Right, exactly.
And the issue is that if you have something that is that you see as being infinitely good, and you believe in ends justify the means, then there is nothing that is not worthy of sacrifice in order to get that thing, because you see it as being better than.
And that's where things get into he's not actually fully deluded, because he's not willing to do anything. He's willing to do most everything.
Is he? Well,
that's the thing, is he's telling them, we're not going to pillage.
But that's completely different. Okay. Because that's entirely just him saying that's something that hinders my ability to do this thing. The fact of whether it's moral or not, or a worthy sacrifice, has nothing to do with it, right? If it was something where letting his soldiers say rape and pillage and all that stuff, right? He would, and it furthered his goal. He would absolutely do it, from what we've seen.
Because his goal is to save the Vikings.
His goal is to save the Vikings and everybody and all of that, right?
Right.
And so there is no evil that would weigh more in his mind than that, right? He's talking about a utopia, a perfect world, all that stuff, right?
Okay.
Even if he killed millions of people, right? But it was something that set up his actual utopia that he has in his mind, right? Then eventually that would pay off, right? That would be worth it.
So you're saying that he's already got the mindset that if he basically kills all his enemies over there, he'll finally be free. Like
basically.
Okay, so then
it's easy. It's easier when it's just a small group of farmers.
No. I'm able
you
to
don't
extrapolate.
have to think about it,
I'm able to extrapolate out the broader principle within the context here. I'm basically saying that Canute is not deluded. I think that the element that's being brought into play here is that a utopia built by a utopia. We need to get a little bit, maybe a bit away from the word utopia, but let's go for a world without war, basically.
Sure.
Or a world without Viking raids, basically.
Sure.
Let's go into that, basically.
Yeah.
He would need to set up a Viking nation that is built on something other than that.
Yeah.
In order to do that, he needs to basically have a strong nation that won't then get attacked and then have
and will
people.
also earn the respect of the Vikings that comprise it, so that
exactly.
way they
So what he's doing is not unreasonable in that it's every I would say nation in, not to be pedantic here, but most nations I would say are seeking this goal to some extent.
Yeah.
But it's do I have the means to do this right now? Not really, because this world is basically dictated by war and slavery.
Right.
So in order to do this, he needs to build up the existing nation to such an extent that no one in the immediate surroundings will challenge
will
him.
fuck with you, or will just choose to be subsumed into you because your nation's so great or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's effectively an empire. That is what that is. That is in a lot of ways what just to kind of bring it up here. That's essentially what the US is basically. It's an empire that is built upon a very, very strong culture and military presence that nobody wants to fuck with.
Right.
And thus by extension we have the only real danger right now is the corruptive influence of man or people that can then take that and abuse it, which is happening. So it's utopia is impossible. So we can separate utopia out of this here, but from his limited perspective and understanding of people
also
and history and human nature and all this stuff,
and speaking in a way that will sway the hearts of the people underneath.
Yes, exactly. He does need to do what
he needs
doing.
to talk in the extremes and paint the vision and all that stuff.
But also in a lot of ways he does need to still be a king. He does still need to in some ways be a tyrant.
Yeah, no, totally right. From a practical standpoint, as far as yes, you could, doing this, you could get the thing that you're after. It's not about whether or not it could work, right?
Okay, so then what was the point that you were making earlier?
Wait, what?
What was the point that you were making?
It's
earlier?
whether or not you should. That's the whole question of Thorfinn's story and everything. That's the thing that he's bringing to the table. Even if it's something where it could make that, and you knew with certainty that it would, which you don't, but even if you did, to say at the beginning, you know what, we should slaughter 100,000 people because that means that 1 million people will, or maybe 200,000 people would have died in the wars over the next 1,000 years, and they're not going to because I
mean, but isn't just the bottom line the important thing?
Well, no, because then you get into the ends justify the means.
But that's the
right.
But I think that was the point. Is that what you could go with Canute's logic, basically that in the sick way in which Thorfinn is actually wanting something harder than Canute. It is more practical.
Yes.
It is more realistic.
Oh, absolutely.
Canute's dream is way more realistic.
Yes.
Than Thorfinn's is.
Yes, 100%.
Like not even in the same bracket.
No, yeah.
Thorfinn's is actually impossible.
No, right, and that's why.
Right.
Thorfinn's. I mean, he wasn't even thinking about the Vikings, so in that sense, it was a smaller scope.
He's thinking much smaller scope, so it is possible from that perspective.
Yeah,
yes.
But that's why in this situation, Canute's like, yeah, I'll have my men surround you and stuff because from a practical standpoint, the logic that I am working with, you have nothing to convince me here, right? I need this thing. I want this thing. I'm going to get this thing in order to do this thing. The moral argument you brought and laid at my feet and in our talked about it very very I want to say eloquently, but that doesn't quite seem like the right word.
No, he brought it very impassionedly.
Yeah, exactly.
And basically, and Canute rebutted with the, cool, that's great.
Yeah, cool story, bro. I don't care.
Well, no, I am not fighting. I'm not fighting you. That's where his delusion kind of comes in, is if anything, is that he's saying, I'm fighting God. I am fighting the rules by which this world is dictated by currently.
And so I cannot afford to concern myself with the suffering of you, right? Yeah. Right. And so from that standpoint, it makes sense then that Canute would be like, yeah, we have nothing further to talk about.
Right. So in that standpoint, you could make the argument, I think, that Canute should be doing what he's doing.
Really?
Yes. The reason why is that Canute is a king. If he is not the king, someone else will be the king.
Sure.
If someone else is going to be the king, Vikings will do worse things.
Sure.
He is in some ways the necessary evil of this world.
Right. And that could be the way in which it's the Swain's kind of talk of the you think you're free when you're the king, but you're really not. Right. You are subject to the rules of what it means to be a king.
And that burden, I feel like, is something where I absolutely think Canute is doing the right thing for him, in that he is the perfect person to come up against Thorfinn's dream, because it's basically the final checkpoint or boss. It's the we both want
essentially the same
impossible and same things. We're going about it different means, but is yours actually even remotely realistic? Do you actually have not just the vision to see it through all the way, but do you too have even the means to do it? Because you don't really, Thorfinn, but you're going to slowly gather people that will make it more and more possible. Right. And then over time, you will come into conflicts. Over time, you will come into violence. You will come into situations where people will say, I don't give a fuck what you have to say. We're going to kill you.
And what do you do? Yeah.
You will probably have to violently stop them. However that happens, that's something that we've kind of wrestled with, is does Thorfinn not have should he do this? Because it's more about, at least in season 2, it's been about his personal journey, and that it's important that he does this. But if you end up with 1,000 people following you, it's going to end up being in the same situation as Canute. You're going to lead them in the best way that you can as a human being. You are not going to necessarily be able to create 1,000 people with the same philosophy or ideology or viewpoint as you'll have here.
And the fact that if Canute wasn't king, someone else would be.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So he's essentially well, actually, here's maybe a better way to think about it.
Okay, go for it.
Forget your utopia, Canute.
Yes.
If you're actually talking about numbers here, right, and ends justify the means, it's I'm going to maintain my power base in such a way that there will be as little war as possible.
Yes.
I will sacrifice the lives of the few that I need to in order to maintain this hold, because I know I am a far less violent king than any of the others that would be in my position.
Right.
Then hopefully set things up so that the next king will be like that too.
Yeah, it's the paradox, basically, of the king that unites all the nations for the purpose of peace, but not a lot of people want to be united.
Yeah, exactly.
So it ends up being
we're going to aggressively tell you about how great our country is.
Right, right.
Yeah.
If you look at all the people that have been referred to as the great in history, for instance,
they usually had pretty big body counts.
They usually had pretty fucking big body counts. Yeah. Just gonna throw that out there.
Terrible things, but great.
Yeah. Were they actually great people? I think it just gets into whether you see.
Well, great versus good. No,
but that's the thing. That's the thing. I think a lot of people will conflate the two and basically be like, well, in order to do good, you can't do anything terrible. And it's I think we have very few exceptions to that rule.
Well, okay, that goes into much less much fuzzier territory, because, like, for instance, let's say you're counting lives, right? And so then you're like, okay, because I'm in a position of leadership where people follow me and stuff, I need to keep that number as low as possible.
Sure.
Are all lives equal? and I'm not talking in like, utilitarian standpoints or things like that, but say civilian lives versus the people that decided to be a part of the warrior life where they do the killing and all of that stuff, right? They signed up for even knowing that they could die, right? Versus the people that are just trying to raise a family or whatever. Do you come in and slaughter them because of some, way that things work, very complicated, all that stuff, that will end up saving lives in the long run. Right? And that's essentially what's happening with Knut here. It's it doesn't matter what happens with the lives of the people on this farm. Somewhere else, as a result of the food that I'll get from this and all that, I will be able to,
strengthen my power base and be able to bring my vision
right. And because
quickly.
Because the slightest of decisions can affect the lives of so many people, well, there will be ways in which this will, potentially save lives. Even though that isn't fully what Knut's
but let's get into this, because every single time they've presented Knut in this season, he's micromanaging the Vikings to the point where he's counting lives. He's basically saying, "Hey, I ordered no, raping, pillaging, or anything like that. Okay, so I now know that they won't actually follow my orders." That actually could have been foreshadowing now that I think about it. Because I think there's a very possibility they actually defy his orders here. But it's the idea that they defy his orders towards peace versus violence.
That would be pretty crazy.
But the idea that he's like, I'm not even going to give them the opportunity to defy my orders.
Sure.
You will all remain here and you will camp on the beaches. You will suffer with me in the cold as we sleep at night, because it's no.
I know what I have to do.
I know your habits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will do the things that I need to do in order to get you to do what I say.
Yeah.
And that will mean maybe because you're being unruly and I know you're not perfectly disciplined, you don't get to experience the pleasures of being in an actual home.
Right. This is actually the part that I'm probably the most excited for, is that one of the things we haven't really discussed up until now is Knut is here. That's weird.
That's true.
And that's been brought up before in this season. Why is Knut here? I think there's a couple reasons for it. The reason why he's here is because he wants to make sure things are done properly.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Right,
but I think it's also because he understands that most people around him don't share his vision.
Yes.
So he is, in the active sense, not just trying to save the average Viking from, the evils of what they're doing, but he's also trying to inspire the leaders specifically to be like, no, live like me. Use me as the example. I will become the shining beacon if I can to do this. So I'm going to do things that are going to make the men like me more. I'm going to actually go to these things there.
Yep.
I'm going to learn how to fucking fight well. I'm going to actually risk my own life potentially here by being, part of the battle. He is not being dumb. He is standing in the back for sure.
Right.
Here.
But he had that whole situation with Thorgil, and I imagine that might have something to do with why he's like, you know what? I am actually not going to get that close to Thorfinn, because theoretically he might decide that, you know what? It's worth killing Knut to stop this from happening.
Bruh, all Thorfinn would need is one of his throwing knives, and this whole thing would be done there. He is risking way more. It doesn't matter how. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
But the fact that he's here means that he is so committed to this, he is willing to sacrifice his life. He does not care about the benefits of his utopia coming to him.
Well, yeah. Right. And the reason why he needs to still be alive is because he's the only one pushing for it, and so therefore, if
the movement
if he dies, the dream
with
dies.
Him. Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I obviously am
You're a history fan.
I'm a history fan here, so I know a lot of what Knut does as well. But it's the thing that it's so cool seeing this area of Knut's life that's not really explored in history, because most of the things that he's kind of lauded for doing are still ahead. Like it's
gotcha.
It's crazy in that
in
regard.
addition to just like, even if you have great history books, it's not like they would necessarily give you a ton of insight into the
the details. No.
Yeah, the details of the headspace of
This is a very fun gray area where the mangaka can do this kind of stuff.
Yep.
But it's the kind of thing where I really love the way this reminds me of like great epics where we get into the means of directing society in a way for the better, because it brings into like some of the best forms of fiction we've experienced, like Legend of the Galactic Heroes, where it's the idea that, Reinhard, the peaceful tyrant, basically, guides things towards that direction in there. And it's the, this hurts my brain here.
Right.
Shit, okay. And then,
hang on.
Yeah, and then Canute here is the one who, maybe his biggest flaw is that he is still haunted and or burdened by the past, and thus he is not fully resolute. It just makes him more interesting as a character. He's flawed in these very specific ways that show him having a potential Achilles heel kind of, not moment, but like poison being able to seep into his ideology and change who he is.
He is not static. He is a person. So we want to keep watching him to see what he does. Yeah. Even though he is absolutely a man of ambition and conviction. So,
he's going to get mostly what he wants.
He raises his hand and, oh, hey, these men are potentially going to kill you, Thorfinn.
Right. Thorfinn has a bit of time, I would say, where he's going to be able to maybe give one last little monologue or something, but short of the men defying the orders, or short of Einar doing something wild and getting him out of there, and then they just abandon the farm, and then or also Olmar and Snake being like,
we were surrendering anyways.
We had the message that was to surrender, so can we do that? Like,
right. And the thing, and this conflict here, regardless of how this specific conflict ends, this question is something that Thorfinn still needs to figure out.
Yes,
because regardless of whether it's Canute or not, regardless of whether or not his men defy Canute or not, or Olmar saves the day or whatever, in future situations, what are you gonna do? Right? Because like, even if
Canute is the most reasonable person, probably.
Canute is the most reasonable person,
and yet he has the strongest motivation against it. Really,
exactly right. Yeah. And so, are you gonna do the 100 punches every single time? Like,
no.
That's not gonna work all the time, even if you can keep doing it somehow, right?
Yeah.
Like, so what do you do, right? Because,
yeah.
I
mean, just no game, no life. It play some Hafalte alto or whatever.
right. Yeah.
Just cheat your way to ruling the world.
I mean, really, that would be the way that Thorfinn would win here and get Canute to get what he wants, even though they don't need to because surrender and all that. But
then we head into a corporate dystopia where everything is run by whoever's the best at the game that is run by the evil corporation.
Exactly. And then eventually, because that becomes such a dictatorship, there ends up being, a violent revolution in order to,
society will as society does.
But episode.
I love this episode so much.
And how dare you end it like that?
How dare you end it like that? We could go on and talk more about this. I love that he does channel Svein, but then, brings up the fight that he is going up against, and yet accepts, what humans are. And then Einar brings up his point of, okay, well, that's all fantastic. Yeah. You're free to pursue whatever huge goals you want.
But who's going to
save all the people you killed today for your goals?
Yeah, it's like it's so pointing at because you can't do the kind of thing that Canute's doing from any kind of like moral reasoning. I feel like, right? Like unless you just say, it's moral, but ends justify the means, and so I can kind of cheat my way there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's this is what I'm doing. This is very much the Snake and,
so what are you
situation.
Gonna do?
And it's the Thorfinn. I am a man of reason. You have the ball in your court here.
Prove me wrong.
Right. Yeah. In a not memeing way, like actually very serious way. The fact that Canute is very much giving him I'm a very reasonable man here, but I'm also not patient. I have a limited amount of time on this earth, and I am going to do what I can in my time.
Yep.
If you're going to waste my time, please step aside. I'm not here to kill people.
Right.
I just need the farm. And the thing is that This is all the ideological argument. Canute is not going to kill anybody in the farm because Olmar's already ready to surrender. This is just the battle of wills and ideals here.
Right.
THORFINN really is not, like, he doesn't know it.
And maybe that's how it's all going to end, is it's going to be like next episode and THORFINN's like, what do I do? And then Olmar's just like, stop.
I don't think he's going to subvert that. I think
the
the main point here is that the mangaka is wanting to say that THORFINN needed this confrontation to go this way and to lose, in the sense that it's yes, but you need to think about what happens when you're staring down the barrel of a king, basically.
How do your ideals like match up with this, and what are you going to do that you see as being
right when you're faced with overwhelming power, overwhelming force, and there's nothing you can do? You cannot endure this.
Right, your words will not.
That was option one.
Yeah, right.
That was method one.
You fully tried option one.
Now what's option two?
What's option two?
If you don't have one, then you better just
is it just, you know, lay down, you know, right? Like, and just let them walk over you, right? Like that's an option.
And it's an option.
But like then it just gets to a point where what happens when they're less reasonable than Canute, when they want to, you know, pillage and kill and all that stuff, maybe just for the sake of it.
Oh my God, this discussion might just get revitalized right here.
Oh no.
Holy shit.
Oh no.
This is Askeladd. Askeladd was looking for the perfect king to serve.
Oh.
He saw it in Canute. And thus, he's like, no, I'm not going to lay down and let my people get slaughtered for the purpose of some mad Dane king that's going to come through and take Wales. No, I'm going to put myself in their circle. I'm going to subtly, you know, have the will of Wales done there so they can have their utopia. They can live in peace.
That would be the way for THORFINN, definitely, to protect the people of the farm as best he can, and also to hopefully save a bunch of people in the long run. But that wouldn't stop Canute from doing what he does.
No.
Right?
But to put this in perspective here, Askeladd chose that option. And the reason why is because he thought it was probably not just the only option that's truly effective, but it's the best option that he can do. Meaning that he doesn't need to give anything up to other people. He doesn't need to serve anybody. He doesn't need to how do I say this? He doesn't need to lay down and let other people walk over him. He gives his vision to a god, if you will.
Right.
And the reason why Canute is so unyielding here is basically because he's saying, no, there's nothing above me except God. So I have to rebel against that because I have there's no one left for me to submit to or to serve. There's only my ideals. That's the part that's going to be really cool here, is that THORFINN has to somewhat win the ideological battle. So,
because ideally the situation is that, you know, who does the leader serve? Well,
the people.
They're people, right? And Canute is basically deciding, no, not really.
Well, no.
He
thinks he's doing this in service of his people. No, he absolutely does think he's doing this in service of his people.
Yeah.
He's not resolved this to be a I serve the Vikings. He's saying, I'm going to go into the muck and mire of the worst of my people.
Right.
And I'm going to save them so that I can then save everybody else from them.
And that's why when THORFINN said his whole thing of, do you still believe in that utopia? He completely ignored that question because of what Einar said of...
Einar.
What about me and mine? How are you going to save the people that you kill today? Right. But and he didn't really have an answer for that.
Well,
other than I'm not going
he's not going to. No.
Right. I'm not going to, and I'm going to tell you why I'm not.
Right. The reason why, and I think this is something that is still good to bring up here, is that Kettle sees the people's lives here as less valuable than his farm and wealth. That's why the episode focused on the mom, who's still conscious here, his wife, as being like, no, I would rather die. I would rather all of them die than me go and live as a beggar on the streets again, or at any point. And that's the disdain and devaluing of human life that sets up Olmar to then be able to be like, no.
I think there's only too much that you can take that, because she's someone who hasn't seen the killing and all that stuff, so she doesn't know, right?
Well,
she's saying words and she's pissed and angry and all that stuff, but that
I absolutely make a value judgment on her character based on that.
Yes, but not in some kind of absolute out of context kind of sense.
No, but
right?
it's not absolute. I think she is essentially saying that even if she doesn't understand the tactics, the chance that they even have of winning, her ideal is that we win. They go back. They never come back here again because we beat their asses. We killed the king or what have you.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, cool. But anybody else dies for that? That's not out of context. That's not out of the realm of reason. Yeah. She saw what happened to Thorgil, who lost, his hand. He didn't lose his hand, but he lost the fight. So then he ended up retreating. It's you would absolutely be fine with Olmar dying, with Thorgil dying, with anybody basically dying, so that you can have what's yours. Basically.
Well, and again, I don't think that's actually the case. It's the you make a decision, but you don't understand the ramifications of the decision. Olmar, when he decided that he was going to duel the guy, right, challenge the guy to a duel, he had no idea what he was actually signing up for by challenging him to the duel. Not really.
I think they've talked about how many men have we lost? 100. No,
yeah, but 100. That's a number to her. She doesn't understand that.
But that means then she cares so little about the lives of the people here. She knows how the farm is run. She knows how many people it takes to run the farm and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right. So she would rather have, less people running the farm, basically, and have it be theirs and stuff, and, potentially have more people die, people that she knows, cares about, or people that she doesn't know or doesn't care about, for the purpose of having basically the same life that she's had before. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, I would attribute that more to, is she a great person? Absolutely not.
No.
But I would attribute it more to ignorance and being someone who should not be in a position of leadership than being in informed decision on how she right,
I'm using it as a character judgment. It has nothing to do with whether she's smart enough or wise enough to do this. I'm talking about this is what I would expect of a slave owner who just doesn't care about their people and stuff. Go kill, go die until I get what I want. It's the kind of thing where I see Canute as the most reasonable king possible in this situation.
Sure.
Extremely beyond reasonable in this situation.
Yeah.
And we have...
Right. Thorfinn isn't trying to convince Canute. He's trying to convince the role of king itself.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
And thus, we are championing Thorfinn because we believe it's possible, because he's our protagonist. He's what the story's about this.
At the very least, we want to see him try.
But in terms of what's realistic here, the Kettle crew are fucking idiots.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolute idiots, and also completely depraved in terms of any value for life, in that Kettle, one, did this whole thing. He did the whole rallying up. We're gonna kill the king and all this, and
Well, I don't think that's depraved of Kettle. I think the thing that Kettle did that was depraved was beating Arnheid. Everything else, no. Someone comes to take your home and saying, no, we're gonna defend it. That's not depraved.
Okay, so to put it in perspective here, there's been some fucked up ways in which the U.S. has taken land from people, where the government comes in and basically bullies people out of their house and homes. Absolute horrible shit. Horrible shit. Is it something that you can't stop, right? You can't actually stop them from doing this. There's ways that you can fight back, but I think the decision to take up arms and fight back.
I think it would how could you see that as depraved? Right?
No, it's not that it's depraved. It's the idea that the option is one where if you're the leader basically of a let's go with a clan, so it's like multi-generational and stuff like that. Would you rather have everyone potentially die in your family in a fight where you're standing up for what's right, basically?
Yeah.
Or would you rather basically do tyranny has come to me, I can't do anything really to stop it.
And that's where
I would do I want my family to live, so we'll leave, we'll relent. It's a very fucked up thing that happened.
No, right.
But it's absolutely, I would say, the right thing to do.
No, yes.
Yeah.
But to say, like, I think it's the difference between like boss versus leader, right? Like telling other people fight and die for me, right? That's wrong, right? You know, just because, you know. But if you say I'm not going to give up my home, I'm going to stay here, and you know, if you end up killing me to do it, great.
No, if you end up killing my whole family to do it.
Well, yeah, at that point I'd say,
yeah, that's what this is.
Your family,
no,
right?
no, I know, but that's the thing, is that this is where it gets even more morally depraved. It's the idea that you have then hundreds of people around you that are the go-be meat shields between me and my family on the way of the empire coming to take what's mine.
Totally, and that gets into the sending other people to die kind of thing. But that's why
I say it's morally depraved what they're doing. Like,
but say take the thing of the we can't be outlaws. If we become outlaws, we will be dead within 5 years, right?
Cool. Like, we can be dead in 5 days, or 5 hours.
Or take the chance that maybe somehow we'll survive.
Right.
Is it a dumb chance, right? Sure, but they don't know how dumb necessarily.
No, I know,
and to say that it's morally wrong to try and take that chance, it's a chance, right? But it's not clear cut, and it's just depraved, right? The depraved part is the yes, all of you go out and die for us kind of a thing, right?
I can't go that way. Basically, it just violates a lot of, like, I'd say, who I am.
I am sure if either of us were in this situation, a great many things about who we are would be being violated just by existing in this state.
But I think that this is one of those examples where we're challenging the mindset that it's the right thing to do to sacrifice life and limb for something that doesn't matter.
Well, but in the modern day, right? It's very different than how it would be back here.
No.
Right?
No, I actually don't. That's why I wanted to bring up the fucked up thing that's happened many times in our nation's history of people having essentially small armies sent to their property to kick them out for the purpose of either infrastructure buildings or territorial acquisition, all kinds of fucked up shit. Just look at the Native Americans and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
See the point there and stuff. But it's is it essentially a wrong thing to basically choose the way of peace and go, I have already basically had the ideological war of the, maybe you fight the legal side of things, which is kind of what THORFINN is trying to do, basically doing the non-violent resistance of, hey, make you question whether or not what the force coming at you is doing the right thing. Can you dissuade them? And it's no, you can't. So let's jump ahead off of those arguments to the. So then, what do you do? Do you die?
And I think,
do you live?
I think there are a lot of situations where you choose death because, like, the devil you know versus the devil you don't, right? Like.
Oh man.
There's all kinds of ways where it could be bad. Like, let's say someone comes into your home and is like, okay, I'm gonna tie you up, right? But I'll tell you that I won't hurt your family, right? If you let me tie you up, would you let him do it?
Can I stop them?
Well, you don't know, theoretically, right? Like would you let them make you unable to resist, right? Would you take them at their word that they won't hurt your family, right?
Well, I mean,
at that point,
I mean, there's a lot of different situations in this where this is one person versus.
No, totally. And I would say in this situation,
I would talk them back and be like, family, leave the house,
Yeah. If you're not in a situation where that's a decision that you have to make, great. But
I think my U.S. government taking land is the perfect kind of analogy for this here, because it's the overwhelming force outside. There's no running away from this. There's nothing you can do other than give up or fight.
The reason why I would say,
because that's basically what this is, right?
The reason why I would say this one is still a bit different is because worse ramifications if you are outlaws and all that stuff, right? And two, they do actually have a way that theoretically they could stop it. The odds are infinitesimally small, but if Canute were to die, it would stop. If you're dealing with something like, say, a modern government, right? It doesn't matter if you kill the people that are here or whatever, right? It's more people come, right? Like, that's how it works.
So your point is basically that they're gonna die because they're outlaws, and thus it's you're killing us anyway.
Well, not that would be a sure thing.
No,
but that is a very real thing to consider that would weigh into the decision. So
I think you're to give you a bone. I think you're right. I just think that it's way more likely though. And exceptionally more likely that they just get killed for defying the king in the losing battle.
Absolutely, and that's why I think the decision is definitely dumb. But and with the whole you all go and die in our stead.
So
that's
depraved, dumb, and
no. But the decision in general, I don't think is depraved. I think it's dumb.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I disagree. I get you. It's something that we're just gonna see it different ways. That's fine. The episode kind of bringing up this discussion here, I think, is a really good one, though, because Canute represents something that I think a lot of people are not really experienced with. The idea that we get almost too much perspective into Canute to where we know what his ideals are and things like that, so we can kind of, see the flaws, but also see the strengths within it. So in most situations, it's the situation like you're talking about where it's an unknown variable coming in where you don't have the trust, you don't have the understanding of what their views and opinions and ideals are. And that's why when the guy that came with, Wolf, when came with him, he's like, no, you need to come and listen to Canute. You'll see, if you hear him out, what kind of king he is. Meaning, I understand that you have this, fear or maybe worry about him being this vicious tyrant of a king, and it's hear him out. You're going to have your opinion changed a little bit once you understand kind of who he is. And I think that's our benefit that we're kind of going into this situation with, is that we know who he is. And that allows, maybe at least from my end of things, to kind of give him a lot more benefit of the doubt than most people would with regards to these kinds of situations.
Sure.
And that's the devil you know versus devil you don't kind of thing that you were bringing up earlier, which is a fair point in some contexts.
Right, but theoretically it's he already used deceit to get us to this point anyways. Who's to say he wouldn't just, put us all to the sword to make sure that it stays a smooth transition or something,
But I still think that if you actually then apply that, you actually then get more reason for the other people to then realize that it's not wise to basically give any
reason?
Give any resistance to the king here after your first loss.
Maybe, but
because it's now he's definitely going to kill us.
But they didn't do anything.
Surrender.
But they didn't do anything to piss him off in the first place, anyways. Right?
No.
It was entirely an orchestrated thing because he wanted their stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he did use Olmar's thing as an excuse. He did lie about the 10 people, but from their perspective, no, Olmar did do enough to have that happen. That's why they ran.
But Thorgel's there, so he would have told them, no, this was a
No, he did. We literally saw that in the episode. But it doesn't matter if Canute was just doing this as I'm a good king, so I see I wiped this off. It's fine. It's Canute is a good king, but he's also
ruthless.
He's ambitious.
He
doesn't care, like you're saying, about the means in a lot of certain instances. He wants his end. He is going to get that. So it's Omar, you fucked us. He's going to use this because that's who he is. Yep. And so, fuck. We either have we either have to defend or relent and leave. Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's what they've decided. So in a lot of ways, it's they've made their bed. They have to lie in it now, and the fact that Olmar is coming up here to surrender, I think it's just going to be one of the best things ever.
Yes,
because it's
absolutely.
Oh, wait, this conflict with Thorfinn is about ideals and about beliefs and values.
From the practical standpoint, hey, let's just make sure that at the very least these people here don't die. Right. We can talk about theoreticals and and ideals and stuff later.
But fuck.
Yeah.
Vinland Saga is the perfect show for us to discuss.
Yes.
It gives so much fuel to bring up everything that makes these characters who they are. And so now that we've had our clash, our confrontation, let's go have part 2. So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, anime in general, and also be sure to check out my Baldur's Gate 3 Let's Play on Twitch, and if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.